Well, it's that time of year. Yes. Do any of you already have your Christmas shopping done? You guys are my heroes. Seriously. How many of you have at least begun a list? And how many of you will worry about Christmas shopping on December 24th? Mike. You guys are my heroes too. I admire your bravery and trusting nature that everything you want will be right there on the shelves and everything's going to be just fine. You know, I enjoy gift giving, especially when I've taken the time to really consider the person receiving the gift. And I'm so excited because I've chosen just this perfect gift. You know, the Christmas tradition of gift giving is really good for us because inherent in its nature is the idea that we need to step outside of ourselves to consider others and offer something of ourselves to others. Sometimes what we offer requires us to part with money. Sometimes it requires us to part with time, especially if we're creating a gift using one of the many God-given talents that we all have. Gifts like woodworking, cooking, sewing, or artistry of just about any kind. When we give a gift, we are sharing something of ourselves through generosity. A common trait among generous people is that they give more than is expected. Expected. Expectation. The shadow side of gift giving, right? Some of us find it uncomfortable to receive a gift that is of more value than the one we gave. So, for this and other reasons too, friends and family might agree to put a spending cap, on what we're expected to pay for a gift. And sometimes gift giving comes with a hook. I think we all know somebody who gives a gift and it isn't given totally freely. Sayings come to mind like quid pro quo, or tit for tat, or an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. One of my favorite lines from Fiddler on the Roof. Tevye says, "If everyone followed that law from Leviticus, we'd all be walking around blind and toothless." Because we are sometimes all too familiar with the shadow side of gift giving, it is especially refreshing when we do receive gifts that are given cleanly, devoid of expectation, and filled to the brim with love. Blessedly, because we are people of faith, we aspire to take generosity to that next level. We aspire to be people who are not only generous, but display generosity of spirit. When generosity of spirit becomes our norm, we give openly, show kindness, and share what we have without any expectation for gaining anything in return. We give our possessions, our time, our love, without the need to control any of the outcomes. For example, as I was growing up, I had friends whose parents would give them a big gift. You may know people like this too, whose parents gave them a car when they turned 16, right? Or parents who furnished their first apartment, went out and bought all kinds of furnishings for their first apartment, or maybe gave them the money it took for a down payment on their first house. But with those gifts came an unspoken expectation that the parents had a right to some of the decision making, like maybe about the make of the car that the person was going to buy or the style of the couch. To people who do not possess generosity of spirit, sometimes it's difficult to give gifts without attaching some kind of an expectation. There are even sometimes very generous religious people who give money to the church and then complain about how that money is spent. It seems foreign sometimes to give without strings attached. Yet generosity of spirit calls us to that level. Luke tells us to love your enemies, do good and lend, expecting nothing in return. Your reward will be great, and you will be children of the Most High. So, what does generosity of spirit look like, besides the act of giving unconditionally? When you are generous of spirit, you lift others up without feeling competitive or jealous. You go high when others go low. You live your life understanding that others have needs too. And you don't condemn what you don't understand. You live your life with purpose, not content to spend every day simply existing. You strive to make a difference. One of the things that Kurt has taught me since he's been with us is that a lot of our faith is aspirational. So our faith is spent trying to live into an aspirational vision of generosity of spirit. And I'm okay with that, even though I'm not there yet. As Thanksgiving approaches, I want to let you know that I am grateful for the members of this church, past and present, who have modeled not only generosity, but generosity of spirit. I am grateful for your legacy, the imprint that you have left over the years on so many lives. Welcome to worship. We are so glad you're here.